Here we are with the argument of definition essay. The argument of definition essay is to be a minimum of 1,500 words. Now, I do want you to note that we have increased the word count here. Your first paper, the fact essay, was 1,000 words, which is pretty short, to be frank about it. So lucky you, you get to write more, 1,500 words, in which you present and support an argument of definition as defined in Everything's an Argument, Chapter 9. Okay, so we need to be reading that chapter to understand what we mean by an argument of definition. There is some video in the module where I talk about this argument of definition. Your essay must cite a minimum of 6 outside sources, 5 of which originate in print or have print analogs. These sources must be presented in correct MLA fashion with both parenthetical in-text documentation and a works cited page. Dictionaries, encyclopedias, and other general reference works do not count as sources, but they may, of course, be used. All right? And especially with this particular assignment, a lot of students do like to use a dictionary or an encyclopedia, and that's great, but it's not enough by itself, right? Please, in addition, you must have at least 2 notes done in MLA format. Now, what's a note? You're going to have to go to the MLA website, which is linked to us on Canvas, and go to its discussion of notes, because there's 2 kinds of notes, endnotes and footnotes. You'll also see this in the writing sample, the essay sample that is posted in the module. Now, as a reminder, the topic will be a topic of your own choosing, but there are a few off-limit topics: abortion, death penalty, child abuse, and religion. None of that. Certainly, there are many other topics to choose from. You must provide a word count of your essay at the end of the text. Do not include the name block, works cited, table figure, any of that other jazzola. The notes may be included, however. Now, you're to submit a proposal by Friday, July the 9th, 11:59 p.m. The proposal should be based on the instructions on page 213, 214 of Everything's an Argument, which of course is in Chapter 9. Okay, so you see where it says preparing a proposal. Right, so we're going to do that. Please this time make sure you have an annotated bibliography with at least 3 sources. Okay, now last time we did 2. This time we're going to do 3. That means I want a written paragraph of description and evaluation for each source. Again, you can look at the sample proposal to see what we mean by that, but you've already done that, at least hopefully, with the fact essay. Also, and this is important, this time we're going to do the Tolman model. Okay? So in your preparing a proposal on page 213, it says, state your thesis or hypothesis completely. If you're having trouble doing so, try outlining it in Tolman terms, which I find laughable because it's actually easier to write the hypothesis than it is to do Tolman. But I want us to try Tolman. Claim, reasons, warrants. Now you're going to have to read up on Tolman on page 143. And I have in the module, all right, the definition module, I do have a video presentation where I talk specifically about Tolman. So the thing to do is to read up in the textbook, beginning on page 143. Obviously, I want you to read the whole chapter 9, but Tolman begins on page 143. Read up on it so that you understand it, and then watch the video. There are actually 2 videos for this chapter 9, okay? Both the Tolman model video and an induction-deduction video, okay? So that is due this coming Friday, okay? Friday, July 9th by the end of the day. Now, we'll be doing work groups again, the peer groups. I'll rearrange them, of course, as best as I can. We'll have some new groups to which you will submit a completed rough draft by Wednesday, July 14th. 11:59 p.m. Okay, so I think most of us were really actually pretty good about understanding that the draft should be as full and complete as possible. It certainly is not perfect, it's a rough draft, but it should be more than just a paragraph or 2, and it should really represent what you can do, the best that you can do up to that point in time, because that's what will be peer edited by the other members of your group. Now, the peer edits should be completed by Friday, July the 16th. So just like we did with the fact essay, you get the rough draft by Wednesday night. You do the peer edits for each other by Friday night. Again, please submit the peer edits both to your peer group and to me. Okay, if you want to get full credit, you have to do both. Please try not to make folders within the Canvas page that I set up for the work groups. I've literally never seen a class do this before, and you guys did a lot of it, which was really weird in my experience. So please try not to do the folders, okay? Please remember, of course, as I've said before, the more work you put into your rough draft, the better your final draft will be. Okay, so in other words, if you're kind of like, well, I haven't really done it yet, well, then nobody's going to review it, right? So let's make sure. Be sure to consult the out-of-class essay guidelines. Some of you have not done that, and you are getting dinged on your grades for that. I don't want any first person I don't want any second person you. I don't need you to say, I believe, I think, I feel. Okay, that's ridiculous. It's a little unnecessary. Let's just put it that way. And then, of course, make sure that you consult the MLA handbook if you have one, or, of course, the MLA style sheet that is on Canvas, and the Purdue OWL. You have a link there. You have a link, of course, to the MLA website itself to make sure you avoid errors in presentation and style. After the peer editing session, you will need to revise and polish your essay and turn it in on Monday, July 19th by 11:59. And please remember, no late essays are accepted without some sort of verifiable emergency or illness. Family vacations, work issues, technical problems are not considered acceptable excuses. Okay? Get it done. So the minimum requirements for this essay, at least 1,500 words, and please remember that is more than we did on the first paper, right? The first paper is 1,000 words minimum. I have a lot of students who easily pass 1,000 words. That's usually not a problem. 1,500 is a little bit more of a push. You have 6 sources, and again, please remember what I like to say about this. These are minimum, not maximum requirements. Okay, minimum requirements are not maximum requirements. You want to have 10 sources, 12 sources, 15 sources. As long as they're good sources, that's great. 5 of those sources must originate in print or have print analogs, which means they're books, newspaper articles, scholarly journal articles, dissertations, magazines. Now, you please note the absence of a requirement for scholarly research. I'm not specifically requiring it like I did in the argument of fact. Nevertheless, I do want to point out that the quality of your sources is incredibly important for writing a convincing essay, even an essay of definition. Okay, so don't just pick up junk, because junk, the absence of my saying scholarly research here is not the acceptance of junk. Okay, junk is not acceptable. It's no good. And if you don't know what junk is, please put your critical thinking caps on. Okay, and you could watch the Triangle of Research videos that I created, because I do talk about the problem of bad sources. You need to have at least 2 notes, that would be footnotes or endnotes, presented in proper MLA format. This is actually a really easy requirement, but you do have to do it. You do have to check for it. And as I said, look on the MLA website for this. It's not hard to find. Also, look at the sample definition essay that I have posted in the module. That will also help you. And of course, MLA documentation for in-text and works cited page. Some of you seem a little fuzzy about MLA. It's like you're putting an APA format, and I will, again, of course, take that out of your grade. You know, if you're not using proper MLA or you're using a format other than MLA, that's not acceptable. That's not part of this, what we do in English. We use MLA format. It's not hard. Just do it. Okay. So as always, if you have questions, you can shoot me a message via Canvas or regular email. If there's a real serious issue, maybe we need to discuss, I'm open to the idea that we could maybe set up a Zoom conference where we can talk face-to-face if that is necessary. I miss personally the face-to-face interaction with my students. I think it's crucial to academic success, but in our COVID times, we just have to do what we can. So, best of luck on this argument of definition essay.